Hi folks, it's Mark Merrill with Firm. We're talking about coercion, media hate, and Laurel Libby again. It just hasn't stopped yet, folks. We've got some pictures to show you, like this one here, but also some stories from Newsmax on the recent news of National Security Administration Chief Mike Waltz, according to a lamestream media reporter, that there was a leak of Trump administration military plans for the Middle East against Houthi rebels on U.S. warships. We'll get to that in a second. Also, we're going to go over a report kind of linked to that from White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt and her statements on this so-called leak, and that national security was never an issue in this matter. Never! So put that to rest, no matter what you hear out there in the lamestream media. This Atlantic reporter, Jeff Goldberg, stated in error and false claims that he was included in a group chat message about war plans with details of the meeting. Wrong! And last, folks, the latest report and update on Maine legislature's special session and where Democratic leadership has failed the Maine people. We got that? It's from Laurel Libby herself. Well, thanks for joining us on Firm here, folks, Fairness in Reporting Media. As we get to the first issue, folks, it's all about Trump standing by his National Security Administration Chief Mike Waltz. Says he learned a lesson. Trump said in the aftermath, the National Security Advisor's snafu of adding a magazine editor to a group chat about plans for military action, telling NBC News Waltz learned a lesson. Now this story, folks, we're getting it from a reliable source. It's called Newsmax. You've heard of it before. You know all about it. Written by reporter Mark Swanson. Mid-morning, March 25th. Now, Mr. Trump made the comments in a phone interview on that day, March 25th, hours after Politico reported that Waltz might get forced out. This never stopped, folks, you know. They're treating the Trump administration just like they did when he was president back in 2016 through 2021. Or 2020, actually, if you want to make it an even 4 years. Pardon me. You know what, Politico? Shut the hell up. Stop the blame and bullying. Just like what Mills is doing to Representative Laurel Libby. We'll get to her in a moment. In this particular write-up, folks, Michael Waltz has learned a lesson. He's a good man, Trump told NBC. So there, nanny, nanny, poo-poo. You want to act like kids, we'll throw it right back at you. Trump's comments came around the same time that White House Secretary Karoline Leavitt said in a post on X that the president continues to have confidence in his national security team, including Mike Waltz. Stories claiming otherwise are driven by anonymous sources who clearly do not speak to the president, and written by reporters who are thirsty for a scoop. No, it's more like a poop. And they're full of it. That's right, Goldberg. I'm calling you a poop head. Otherwise, I'd be blanked by the FCC if I used some other words that are floating around in my head. But you deserve it, asswipe. In an article released on Monday, which was the 24th of March, here he is. Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg wrote that on March 11th he received a connection request, quote-unquote, on the Signal app. No, there was an app called Signal, from Waltz, which he accepted, thinking that Waltz wanted to chat about Ukraine or Iran or some other important matter. Do you think he was being honest? I don't know. According to Goldberg, Vice President J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Waltz used the group to chat about discussing possible military action in Yemen against the Houthis, the terrorist group responsible for attacks on shipping lanes in the region. Goldberg noted that one post from Hegseth contained operational details of forthcoming strikes on Yemen, including information about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and attack sequencing. Oh, yeah? Are you making this up as you go, Goldberg? Press Secretary Leavitt said no war plans were discussed, and 2, no classified material was sent to the thread, meaning the Signal app. Mr. Trump told NBC it was the only glitch in 2 months, and it turned out not to be a serious one, explaining that Goldberg was accidentally added to the message thread. Yeah, you were not supposed to get that. But no, instead of giving the White House the red flag, hey, what's this? I'm a reporter with The Atlantic. Am I supposed to be getting this? Oh, no. No, don't be honest. No, that'd be cause for, like, I think, the firing squad as far as the Democrats are concerned. Trump said it was one of Michael's people on the phone. A staffer had his number on there, meaning Waltz. Now, where's Ms. Leavitt on all this? She's Johnny on the spot, man. It's just a phrase. Don't get all panicky about it. The White House said, as just mentioned moments ago, folks, that no war plans, classified info discussed during the group chat. This by Charlie McCarthy, reporter for Newsmax, as it continues here. We're talking about coercion, media hate, and the ongoing saga, and hope a final good ending so that Laurel Libby can get her censure removed and get back to business. Tell the Democrats where they can go and get off. So the White House on that Tuesday, the 25th, refuted a report that war plans were discussed on a virtual group that a journalist accidentally joined. See? Accidental. No, Goldberg, you weren't invited. But you didn't have to, but you didn't admit it. No, you didn't want to admit it. Gee, I must have gotten this for a reason. A scoop. How old is this guy anyway? The Atlantic editor-in-chief, it's his title, this Goldberg, wrote that he was invited to a March 15th Signal app, a chat group in which J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz discussed possible military action in Yemen against the Houthis. Later in the day, President Trump ordered a series of airstrikes on the Houthi-held areas in Yemen. Hegseth on Monday, the 24th of March, he went after Goldberg, not physically. Verbally. Hegseth on Monday the 24th assailed Goldberg, saying the editor peddles the garbage. Unquote. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt took to X, and here's the details, and they're more detailed than the ones I just gave you, folks. Jeffrey Goldberg is well known for his sensationalist spin. Here are the facts about his latest story. 1. No war plans were discussed. 2. No classified material was sent to the thread. And 3. The White House counsel's office has provided guidance on a number of different platforms for President Trump's top officials to communicate as safely and efficiently as possible. Leavitt added that the White House is investigating how Goldberg's number was inadvertently added to the chat thread. The press secretary then ended her post with what matters most. She continued. Thanks to the strong and decisive leadership of President Trump and everyone in the group, the Houthi strikes were successful and effective. No thanks to you, Goldberg. What do you think? You were going to scare them away? Hey, look out! We're being bombed! We're being missiled by the United States! Oh my God! Might as well make fun of it because Goldberg is an ass. He's not honest. As a matter of fact, we're going to do some more research, folks, on the Atlantic. Seems to me there's some old, dead, woke publication people there. Production, writers that need to be cleaned out. Too bad Trump can't take care of them. That's the media. Maybe we can get the FCC to act. Ms. Leavitt finished her statement about the Houthi strikes being successful and effective, and also said terrorists were killed, and that's what matters most to President Trump. That's the end of that story, if you will. Thanks to the Atlantic. And we have a large statement, or a big statement, we should say, folks, from Representative Laurel Libby, as you see here. She basically said that, as we bring it up here, and we'll read part of it, but we're going to let you hear from her in just a moment as well, is the fact that the tyranny of the majority is now commonplace in Augusta. This was sent to us, folks, on March 24th. And at the moment, we've got it all ready to go. We're going to listen to what Ms. Libby had to say about the behavior of the Democrats and their lack of staying with the Constitution to work under an oath they all took to serve the people instead of themselves.
The Democrat majority shoved through a budget. It's an inadequate budget. It's not a balanced budget. It's not a balanced budget that meets Maine people's needs. It is a budget that was thrown together literally in days and is a huge disservice to Maine people. But it is technically a budget, this 400-page behemoth, that will continue to have Mainers at the top of the one of the highest tax states in the nation. It will continue to overburden our citizens. It will continue to ensure that Mainers continue to not have much money left over in their pockets at the end of the day. But we'll also continue to make sure that all the Augusta Democrats' pet projects are funded, and make sure that we're paying for free college for folks coming from out of state that want free college, and make sure that all of the climate goals are we're headed straight for those targets, to make sure that your cost of energy and electricity continues to skyrocket, and that you over time have limitations in your options for how you choose to heat your homes, and all kinds of bad things included in this budget. What's not included in this budget is adequate funding for the various things that the Democrats are trying to prioritize but haven't covered for in the budget. For example, if you recall, we recently were debating the merits of a supplemental budget, and this supplemental budget was needed because the Democrats didn't properly budget for how they expanded MaineCare, and so they weren't able to pay the bills. Remember, the last two biennial budgets have been passed by the majority rather than by a 2/3 consensus. And so when the Democrats mismanaged those funds and didn't properly account for Maine care needs. They then asked you, Maine taxpayer, to cough up another $120 million to cover that gap.
Cover that gap. Isn't that lovely, folks? Well, to finish what she started here, folks, in her statement that came out on that day, long and short, she says, the people of Maine deserve better. We deserve a transparent budget process that seeks consensus and considers the needs of all citizens, not just those who happen to align with the party in power. Power. Power is a house of cards. Toothpicks. Democrats. Ms. Libby goes on to say, we deserve leadership that respects our Constitution and puts the needs of the entire state above party politics. We must hold Augusta Democrats accountable for this manipulation of our legislative process, and if we do not, this will become the new norm, and Maine will be governed by unchecked partisan rule. She asks how everyone out there in the state of Maine can fight back by forwarding her email and statement to at least 3 other friends who need to know what's really going on in Augusta and share just what is at stake. Our state's future, economy, ability to thrive, our very way of life depends on us fighting back against this dangerous precedent, and we couldn't agree more at FIRM, Fairness in Reporting Media. While the biennial budget was an important topic to cover, where do things stand with biological males in girls' sports? Her continued censure and the lawsuit? Well, Democrats doubled down last week, both by voting to uphold the censure during floor debate on the budget and voting down an amendment to remove biological males from girls' sports. So there you go. Several other Republicans and Ms. Libby presented amendments to the budget on the floor, which spurred that second censure debate. Unfortunately, it seems clear that her constituents will not get relief of their disenfranchisement from the legislature, and the initial hearing date has been scheduled for April 4th, when her federal appeal will be held in Rhode Island, and she says she's looking forward to that day in court. Meantime, folks, pray, and pray a lot. Oh, and by the way, one more thing we wanted to add to this podcast. Something just came down from PragerU. Dennis Prager. Looking at that one pretty good? Yeah, this is going out, and I'm going to send it out to the majority of the population of Maine and on the national circuit. X, YouTube. You know, sex is binary. Yeah, it really is. Damn it. There's nothing you can do about it. If there's anybody out there who wants to have an argument about it, 3 guesses who I'm going to tell you to go talk to. The first 2 don't count. Creator of the universe. He created you. You got a stick in your craw over Trump just because you're going to try and get some medication for TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Think again. I'm going to laugh you right out of the doctor's office or the clinic. Get out of my office, you moron. Grow up! This is all that matters right here. As always, folks, we are FIRM, Fairness in Reporting Media. Mark Merrill, as always, your host. We're all about this right here. You see it all the time. Truth, facts, reality, and common sense. But we're also about this. Check out all of our podcasts on Rumble. Rumble.com/FairnessMedia1. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, folks. Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com. Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com. Stay safe, everyone. Pray daily. Right up until and through and including April 4th. For Laurel Libby and her freedoms and her rights to speak. This has got to stop. Stay safe. Peace.